Talking a familiar name, that's Nvidia. The stock's been the standard bearer for the AI boom over the last few years. And honestly, I feel like I'm underselling it because the performance truly has been unprecedented when you think about the value created by this name over the last 2 years, just in real dollars, going from, a really big company, several $100 billion in market cap, to, some $3 trillion. It's never been done before in that kind of speed.
Yeah, it's true. And I mean, the momentum that it has seems to be continuing, at least in the first trading day of 2025. And even with the choppy action that we're seeing in the broader market, investors are returning to the beloved Nvidia, the tried and true there. So the share price has been holding up even with the back and forth that we've seen between the bulls and bears. And to your point about, let's just talk last year for Nvidia. I mean, the stock jumping more than 170%. One of the leaders in terms of gains for the year in the top three. Revenue in their latest quarter was more than $35 billion. So it just continues to outperform. And then you had this jockeying where it became the world's most valuable company. It took the position from Apple, and it's just been kind of jockeying back and forth between them on who have the pole position. But that was as recent as June. It reclaimed it. Well, it first happened in June, then it reclaimed it again later in 2024. So the momentum continues for it. And I mean, look, I think what's happening here is it still has first mover advantage when it comes to the types of chips that it produces, right? Those chips that these major companies need to rely on. And there was all this talk last year about AMD and would it catch up? It still didn't catch up yet. Obviously, there are challengers, and AMD wants to catch up, and of course, Intel wants to, but it's got other problems that it needs to deal with. AMD maybe could be close, but then when you look at alternatives, if you need chips that are less intense compared to, say, Blackwell or its predecessor Hopper, some companies are starting to look at the Broadcoms of the world, and we saw that reflected in its share price. But Nvidia, obviously, it has that massive first mover advantage, and it's still expected to be strong this year, Alex.
Yeah, it seems that it's sort of like a situation where this could even balloon to something even bigger, where it's like, we know the technology race, like things get obsolete so quickly, they're gonna have to replace and expand and expand and expand. But at the same time, these companies that are spending all this money, if at some point there's not like dollars and cents that come back to them, do they abandon these these projects? And I know they've said they're not going to do that, and so we'll take them at their word. But at some point, you'd think they'd want to see real, tangible dollars and cents in return, given how much is being spent on this. But Nvidia is still in the right place at the right time to benefit. Now, this really puts in perspective, I think, what I was trying to say, and it's not really just the last 2 years. This was an X post from John Ehrlichman, just to give him, the credit for this. I don't know if you saw this, but it says value of $1,000 invested a decade ago, and it lists several names. Of course, Nvidia's at the top. 272,000 and some change. Stock went over 270 times in 10 years. And we're not talking about some up and coming micro cap company. We're talking about one of the bigger companies on the planet. It's really, truly, it's unprecedented.
It's true. And if you think about even the origins of the company and the idea behind it, producing these GPUs really to fuel the power that was needed for gaming, but now it's become what is necessary for the race to dominate AI. And of course, the U.S. wanting to hold the position as the dominant place there, and NVIDIA being able to have the front position there. So they're, expected to continue to fuel that. Will they keep the crown this year? That does remain to be seen. I think, it's a strong chance that they will continue to be the leader in that. But in terms of, to your point about other changes that we've seen, the strength that we've seen in NVIDIA, or the growth that we've seen, even knocking Intel out of the Dow. So that says something, especially when you think about such an old, that was once a heavyweight.
Growth-oriented investors are more concerned with a stock's potential for the future as well as the general soundness and health of a company's finances than are value or momentum investors. In order to identify stocks that will experience steady growth over time, they should concentrate on the growth style score, which examines factors including sales, cash flow, and predicted and historical earnings. The Graphic Processing Unit, or GPU, was created by Nvidia Corporation, which is the global leader in visual computer technologies. As time went on, the company's emphasis shifted from PC graphics to AI-based solutions that today cover gaming, virtual reality, VR, and high-performance computing, HPC. With a growth style score of A and a VGM score of B, Nvidia is ranked number 2 by sales and earnings are expected to rise 111.8% and 126.2%, respectively, over the previous year. In the past 60 days, 15 experts have raised their earnings projections, and the consensus estimate for 2025 has gone up by 10 cents to $2.94 per share. The average earnings surprise for Nvidia is 9.8%. It is anticipated that Nvidia will report cash flow growth of 303.7% this year. Over the last 3 to 5 years, Nvidia's cash flow has increased by 50.2%. Due to its great growth and VGM style scores, a good rank, and impressive growth fundamentals, Nvidia ought to be on investors' short lists. So, what implications does this have for Nvidia's stock? Let's explore that. But first, a big thank you to those of you who've stuck with us this far. Creating these videos takes significant effort and dedication, so if you're enjoying the content, please hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and share your thoughts on Nvidia stock in the comments. Your support truly helps us grow. Now, let's get back to the video.
Point here, we'll look ahead and we'll talk a little bit more about what 2025 may bring. But I want to bring another kind of just tidbit here. My career really kicked off in 2015. So 2015, 2016 saw a little bit of volatility in the markets. But I remember coming into 2016 and thinking, oh, this Nvidia stock's pretty expensive relative to where it's been, and it did see a sell-off. And it sold off like 25% in the first quarter. You know what the split adjusted price of that is now? It sold off from about 80 cents to 60 cents. That's incredible. It's just how far this stock has come in just such a short amount of time. Crypto, video games, and now the biggest of them all, this AI boom. It's just been so good to investors and continues to be a really good start to the year, too, up 1% with the market making new lows as we speak. I know there was this investment note as well. I'm sure there's countless investment notes here. Any thoughts from that?
Yeah, I know there was a report in the Financial Times showing that in terms of NVIDIA investing in AI companies in 2024, it invested $1 billion across the space, across 50 startups and several corporate deals last year, and that's an increase over the prior year where they spent $872 million across less than 40 startups and deals, et cetera. So it shows that they're war chests, that they have enough to make investments out, from the growth that they're getting and from the demand that they have.
Yeah, no, they're a player now. I mean, they're one of the companies that has the cash to do something like this. And I mean, we've watched companies like Alphabet through their other bets category, companies like Apple, companies like Microsoft. They don't necessarily have to come up with the ideas anymore. They can just buy the startups that are making these, different breakthroughs, buy them early on enough that they reap the benefits in the end. And it's sort of one of those the rich get richer stories. But Nvidia broke into this pack of companies. It is truly a player at the table, and I think that particular stat that you just brought, I think, highlights that.
Yeah, but even if you think about the origin story, if you go to the top of the leadership of NVIDIA with Jensen Huang, and when you think about his origin story and started the company at a Denny's, it seems that he would still have, kind of close to his heart wanting to invest in the next growth story, the next NVIDIA. So you can see why there would be investment in startups and increasing that investment. What is going to be that next origin story?
No.
Analysts anticipate that Nvidia will soar to about $150 in the first week of 2025 due to the high demand for AI. The stock did, however, close Friday at $138 higher for the day and faster for the week after some recent declines. In Q3 2025, Nvidia recorded record revenue of $35.1 billion, increasing 94% year-over-year and 17% from the previous quarter. $30.8 billion was supplied by the data center segment, representing a 17% sequential growth and a 112% annual growth. Some analysts are less certain despite the positive signs. Due to concerns about possible supply-side interruptions and competitive risks to customer-developed chips, Gil Luria of D.A. Davidson has rated the stock as neutral. Additionally, he claims that a shift to smaller language models would reduce the demand for Nvidia's graphics processing units. Although Wall Street price expectations range from $171 to $220, Nvidia's importance in AI and other cutting-edge technologies is almost undeniable. However, some analysts, like Sahib Olor, believe that Nvidia's inventions and robust market presence will drive its market capitalization to surpass $10 trillion. Investors are intently monitoring Nvidia's growth trajectory as it progresses through the stages of its influence on AI-powered disruptive technology. To stay informed about the latest developments from Nvidia and the ever-changing stock market, consider subscribing to our investing tutorial channel. We provide daily updates on significant market shifts and key catalysts, so hit that subscribe button to ensure you never miss crucial information. We'd love to hear your thoughts on Nvidia stock, so please share your opinions in the comments below. Now, let's dive into today's video.
I think that's a great point. I think you see this similar with like Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos or Bill Gates. You can go down the list, any of these big-time CEOs. Incremental increases in their wealth or decreases in their wealth really doesn't influence their quality of life at this point. I don't know if it going from 10 billion to 15 billion really changes anything, but they do want to make impacts on the world and whatever they think will happen, whether that's EVs and autonomous driving for an Elon, or the stuff that Nvidia is working on in AI, or the space race that we're seeing from some of these different billionaires. They all want to make their mark, and that's sort of, I think, where they derive their drive at this point. It's not about just how much dollars and cents are in the bank anymore when you got as much as some of them do. Any final thoughts on Nvidia here before we look at a trade?
I will say one thing that I've noticed in terms of analyst views on Nvidia for this year, while it's still expected to be an industry watcher, while it's still expected to be a leader, the share price is still expected to grow this year, but not the same rate that we saw last year. So
yeah,
that stands out to me.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I think it's been dangerous for fund managers to be underweight this particular name. But I do think that there's some uneasiness about the performance and just how lofty some of these valuations have gotten in all these names. But again, if the next guy is invested in it and he's got these returns for his clients, that's risk too. And I think that's kind of the downside of some of these different kind of investment philosophies is you might be doing something prudent, but if the other guy's right, you might lose the business anyways. So let's talk trading this name. One thing that you can do also, individual traders who are looking at things like this, you can use risk-defined strategies to protect from drawdowns the same way. And so say you think Nvidia can make a run at those highs again up near 150, 152, maybe you'll look at something like a call vertical, slightly out of the money or in the money depending on how optimistic you are, and you can structure it in a way where you risk a little bit less than your reward potential. Give it a little bit of time, and if you do get another run up towards those highs, perhaps you can participate without taking the real big-time risk or capital exposure as being a shareholder. And so that's what I looked at here, January 31st, just the end of the month, the 145, 150 call vertical. This, again, is just in the name of FOMO, looking for a move back to those highs. And if that happens, for a $1.50 debit or $150 in risk, you have a chance to make upwards of $350. Now, you need some help from the market. The break even's 146.50. That's 10% or so, $10, I should say, higher than where we're at now. Something like 8%. So you're going to need some help from the market just to break even. But if you get that move, you can participate. And you have a chance to make just over 2.5 times just under 2.5 times the risk on this particular trade. So risk 150, chance to make 350, break even 146.5. It's going to do it.
Artificial intelligence, AI-powered devices that physically mimic people and mimic human speech and movement are known as humanoid robots. Useful humanoid robots will be available sooner than most people think, even though many of us can still only imagine having a humanoid made like Rosie from the futuristic Jetsons cartoon. According to Nvidia CEO Jensen Huang, who co-founded the firm in 1993, it has grown to become the second largest company in the world by market capitalization, only slightly behind Apple. Huang co-hosted a CES financial analyst conference earlier this month and delivered the opening keynote address to start off the Consumer Electronics Show, CES 2025. This comment was among the most thrilling things he said to investors in Nvidia stock. "I have no doubt that humanoid robots will wow everyone with their superiority in less than a decade." Most estimates place the 2024 global humanoid robot market's value between $1 billion and $2.5 billion. Research and development of humanoid robot hardware and software currently makes up the majority of the market. To my knowledge, no company has yet to sell a humanoid robot, or general-purpose robot, to the general public, at least not in the United States, but some businesses are beginning to use them internally. According to reliable sources, market growth estimates are almost always quite optimistic and have recently increased dramatically because to the rapid advancements in AI, specifically the emergence of generative AI. With the release of OpenAI's ChatGPT chatbot in late 2022, generative AI, which significantly expands the application cases for AI, bounced into the tech landscape. In an early 2024 analysis, Goldman Sachs predicted that the addressable market for humanoid robots will grow to $38 billion by 2035, more than 6 times the initial estimate of $6 billion. The last time it was projected was only a year ago. According to Goldman's base case prediction, 1.4 million units will be shipped by 2035. The company attributed its significant upward revision to both the rapidity of AI advancements and the fact that investment in the field is expanding more quickly than it had predicted. According to the company's bull case, humanoid robot shipments are expected to reach 1 million units by 2031, 4 years ahead of its initial projection of 2035. In order to provide AI capabilities, Nvidia is the industry leader in semiconductors, mainly graphics processing units, GPUs, and associated technologies. Since its technology has been used to train robots like drones and warehouse robots and to power the AI-powered brains inside these machines, the company has been involved in robotics for many years. By entering the humanoid robotics market in 2024, Nvidia significantly expanded its robotics portfolio. Only with the development of generative AI was this feasible. Nvidia unveiled its AI foundation model for humanoid robots, Project GR00T, Generalist Robot 00 technology, in March 2024. According to a press release from the business, GR00T-powered robots will be built to comprehend natural language and mimic human movements by watching what people do. As part of this effort, it also introduced significant enhancements to its Isaac robotics platform, such as simulation tools and generative AI foundation models, as well as a new microprocessor for humanoid robots called Jensen Huang. Simultaneously, Nvidia declared that it is developing a comprehensive AI platform for top humanoid robot companies, including Xpeng Robotics, a division of China's Xpeng electric vehicle company, 1X Technologies, Agility Robotics, Aptronic, Boston Dynamics, Figure AI, Fourier Intelligence, Sanctuary AI, and Unitary Robotics. Huang revealed more plans for the creation of AI-powered humanoid robots at CES 2025. In essence, the business has developed a complete suite of tools, hardware, and software to let businesses build humanoid robots. This covers deployment, simulation, and training. Nvidia's technology is being used by all or almost all of the major companies in the humanoid robotics industry to create their robots. That makes Nvidia stock, in my opinion, the greatest method for people to invest in the humanoid robot market, which is expected to grow significantly in size, at least for the time being. Don't forget to share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Your input helps create a more knowledgeable community where we can all learn and grow together in the world of investing. Stay up to date with the latest market trends, insights, and key updates by subscribing to Investing Tutorial. We're here to help you make smarter investment decisions and stay ahead of the curve.